obviously tonight. Last time you guys came out on top by 2-point margin. Do you expect another physical game tonight?
Real lucky to come out on top on the last second shot. I think both teams really played tough to do anything inside against them, so got to really work and get some good looks, and then so they got other guys that can shoot the ball, so to try to come up with a very difficult shot, so we have a tall task in front of us tonight.
The points which few teams, if any, can say that they've done. You guys, he sees that on a nightly basis, but what did you gain?
Well, as you, we did play some box and one, some match and one as well, where we tried to get guys blocking cutters. A smaller guy on Brian Butch, trying to beat him with his quickness, and then had some give outside shots. So missed some shots. And of course, we missed shots. So it was just a great high school basketball game, and I'm just
luck tonight. So you have the number 3 team in Appleton West taking on the number 6 team. Lights coming up tonight. We'll send it.
Thanks a lot, Simon. We just saw how they managed to handle them last time. We'll see who comes out on fans.
High school boys basketball here on Charter Communications. Good evening. With my Cardinals playing host to Appleton in this big Fox Valley Association Conference matchup. Appleton West. First in the Fox Valley Association, and revolving around recruit.
Starts with the big man for West Valley Association in the obviously action you're taking the
association all season long. Beyond that, able to knock
13 NBA in offense, third in the NBA in it's a first time the model like Appleton West.
Did beat Appleton West, as you mentioned, 39-7. Played a couple of different defenses. Man-to-man, what do you expect tonight from the Fond du Lac Cardinal defense?
Well, just really used to. He hadn't seen, that box and one. A lot of the other five used to that, but he wasn't used to that. Like Derek Shaw, Telt, or John Casey were giving him the card. They were playing with intensity and a lot of emotion.
It is so here at the Redbird House. We're going to Coach Diener right after this. Watch.
Dodge Store, Holiday Dodge. Browse through our huge Neon. Dodge is Fondy's headquarters. To take backed by our 5-star truck help. But why? Hey, Dodge, Highways 41, 51 in Fond du Lac.
Those are getting set to play out. Section. They sold lots of tickets. Also, Fond du Lac. You look at this place is almost and early. With the head sport.
And joining me right now, Fond du Lac. We've got them up. We'll talk in just a second, but the season for the Cardinals. Time this season, and let's talk about this. After that, the teams come to the conference and beaten a lot of teams.
Through in the season next probably teams. And, we figured we could finish first place. We had a miracle season. We could blow us. We really struggled. I'm just so very proud of the kids the way they played. Really, they really defense, rebound the ball, you give up shots in anybody in the league, and that's really boxing out because
we're near tier. Robbie Springmore, one guy, the other guy up at vice.
Right there, those are our two guys leading us. They're both average 13 or 14 game, and they're both guards. But let's and show health games and leadership so around extra off the bench. Come in that have provided for us and provide some score. Tip does the job and hits the game. That's force. That's it. A week ago, Schumacher coming off the bench and nailing a couple in the second quarter. It's truly been a team effort, and I'm really pleased with what's happening.
All right, let's talk about this basketball game tonight. You defeated early season up in Appleton. I'm sure that's where you're going to.
Well, we had some in the defense that we employed, anticipate maybe some more cutting by their people and open high-low. So we've changed our within the defense thing. So basic defense is going. I like to go in the game when you're against a player with having hands of attack from a defense. If one does say, well, we're going to the next thing, and that's been pretty good past year. Whatever defense, it always comes back to manageable things.
Right. Tip off the right at Appleton Fond on your high school.
We are here at High Bird Beach, near the bleachers underneath of the basketball. Also, but here tonight, as we mentioned, basically packed house. Both students and fans for this matchup. Place in line for the Valley Association, at least for the as a chance. 12 West and 1 should be an experiment. We'll be back with starting lineup this year like basketball on Sports.
United to better serve Beaver Dam on if you know from your locals can be found in all 4 locations. That's paint supply, DuPont, Nason, and parts. The same people, parts.
We are back at the red so the Cadillac High School. I think fans and what the anticipation ball game. I've been talking about it. It's so exciting. To this wait for the.
Yeah, us as the finals have been looking forward to this week about. They had a hard-fought basketball north of Fond du Lac. Out in the last that the had to Oshkosh north, and now for
not overlook actually 11 portions of it as you see the students. All the students fired up matchup tonight, but the Cardinals, when they arrived and defeated West, I think a lot of people. Now, the road at Appleton East. Right now, tonight, they'll be with Appleton. But the Cardinals was holding the record breaker.
The rest of the season, they played Corona, then if they don't, Fond will be in a hole 2 games. From the open off here, live from Redbird Field, sold out Field House. Back right after this. Here, watch the last charters. Welcome back to Red Field House. We are for the tip-off in the starting line. Apple West, Fond du Lac. Sean, it's a stick here at the Red.
We're watching see how many people are actually inside of the house tonight. Electric atmosphere up for this one, as well as both of them should be an outstanding way tonight.
We get right now for let's go court side for Anthem.
Fox Valley Association. Yeah. At the time, please remove your national on supervision.
Magical for singing tonight's national excellent.
Thank you.
And starting lineups.
For tonight's game. Number 5. A senior, 6'2", bad. A junior, 5'10", just a senior, 7 foot, number 42, Brian Bush. And a senior, 5, number 50, Nick Hansen. And now for the Cardinals, 6 foot, number 3, Chris Saberlick. A junior, 5'10", number 15, Morn. Number 15, Derek. A junior, 6 foot. And a senior, 3.
You hear as there you see 4 players, and the Fond du Lac Cardinals are 13-1.
Players. Sometimes he pump. Focus. Back.
The UW Madison recruit and Cardinals coming out in a man offense against man-to-man defense. Robashevsky.
Appleton West just passing the ball around that side. And Robbie Spring is guarding Dave Buchanan of Appleton West as the Cardinals struggling to get it inbound. Not have the basketball. Springborn is coming down low and kind of doing a double team right away on Brian Butch.
Cardinals nearly turn it over out of bounds. It will be Fond du Lac basketball. 7:21 remaining here in the opening quarter. Springborn has it. It's being trapped. Needs some help. Robbie Springborn nearly throws it away. Casey Weiss has it. Now to Saberlick. And Fond du Lac now will load their offense. Robbie Springborn with the basketball between the circles to Sean Bartelt. Bartelt gives it off to Derek Arndt. Derek Arndt's going to try to play outside the arc and try to draw Brian Butch away from the paint.
Their first meeting, whoever Butch was guarding, that player stepped way out on the arc, and in fact, Matt Saporsky for Fond du Lac, a big guy, ended up shooting a couple of threes and hitting them in that matchup.
Springborn with the basketball, being guarded by Wabashevsky, and Springborn shoots, and an air ball. Rebound comes away from Hansen for Appleton West, and now the Terrors will bring it up with Dusty Wabashevsky. Hansen with the basketball, being guarded by Springborn. Hansen on the right-hand side, now a post up to Butch. Butch, a whistle, and it's going to be a foul before the shot. The shot will not count. Foul will go on the Fond du Lac, and it will be a blocking foul. And the Cardinals go on Derek Arndt, his first team foul.
You saw the immediate double team to Brian Butch once he got the ball down low in the post. Cardinals, they got plenty of fouls to use.
Hansen with the basketball. Now back out. Hansen cranks up a three on the way off the front of the rim. No good. Appleton West comes away with a Wabashewski. 6:10 remaining. Three-pointer on the way. No good. And the Cardinals come away with the rebound this time. Springborn looking to push it up for Fond du Lac. Springborn into the lane. Now to Bartell. Springborn has it between the circles. Now off to Casey Weiss. Casey Weiss takes it into Butch. Shot overlaid. Ball loose on the court.
Hustle there by Fond du Lac. They've been hustling all season. That's what's got them to 12-2 record.
Shot blocked by Saberlich, but he's right there to tip it back in. The Cardinals scored for the first time. 5:30 remaining here in the first quarter.
Chris Saberlich, the second leading scorer for the Cardinals. A terrific jump shooter for Fond du Lac.
And the basket underneath by Matt. It's 4-2 in favor of
time.
Back out on top to Robbie Springborn. Now, good ball movement. Well.
Pass. 37 final, so obviously a team that averaged 44 points a game likes to keep it low. Up so far, coming up, the score is 4-2 Appleton West.
Basketball at the free throw line, back out to Springborn. Now Saberlich cranks up a three off the rim. Squeeze for the rebound for Fond du Lac. Another offensive board for the Cards.
As Saberlich continues to struggle from the outside, but at least his teammates picking up some offensive rebounds, allowing the offense to reload.
Casey Weiss with it now for Fond du Lac. Now back out top to Springborn. Springborn with it.
Appleton West is playing some tight defense. Really isn't giving Fond du Lac many looks offensively.
Derek Arndt's going to take it himself. Shot on the way off the back. No. And Brian Butch comes away with the rebound for Appleton West. They look at pushing it up. Chris Saberlich right there.
Well, they struggled shooting so far, Nick, as they are only 1 of 7 from the field. And I think Appleton West is happy with the defense they're playing. They're forcing Fond du Lac to take jump shots, and those jump shots are
Springborn with it. Now to Derek Arndt. Arndt's going to be an offensive foul and fight right there to step in front of Derek Arndt and create the offensive foul. 3:13 remaining in the opening quarter, and as you mentioned, Sean, a low-scoring basketball thus far.
Brian Butch down low, not moving out of the paint, is really hurting the Cardinals team. That's the key to the offensive game of Robbie Springborn, the point guard for the Cardinals. He likes to drive down the lane. Terrific at that. With Brian Butch, a big 7-foot guy standing down low, really makes it hard for the very much smaller Robbie Springborn to get any kind of offense going.
Brian Butch right there for and it's to lead in Appleton West. Butch was only held to 9 points in the first meeting. The Cardinals defense doing an outstanding job on him. Springborn in trouble, needs to, and actually the Cardinals call a timeout. Fond du Lac calls a quick timeout before they get it over the timeline, and it will be a 30-second timeout. And we'll keep tonight's game is in part by United Parts Fond du Lac. If you're looking for machine shops, automotive parts on Thursday. Glad to be above the game.
Well, this being a plus would just trying to basketball is really the Cardinals. Think back to the two losses, Gosh North was for the finals, forced a lot of turnovers, kind of got the Cardinals out of their game. I don't know if Fond du Lac was really expecting it. Right now, you know, the teammates aren't really helping Springborn in trying to bring up the basketball. The Cardinals look a little bit confused. If they don't find a way to figure that out, it could be a long Fond du Lac.
6-2 in favor of Appleton West. 2:35 remaining here in the opening quarter from the Redbird Fieldhouse. With it now, circles for the Cardinals. Springborn looks to take it in. He's got a weave away. Nothing will right now for Fond du Lac. They cannot buy a basket.
Oh, and Casey Weiss needs to hit those baskets. He was wide open. He's the kind of guy, a bigger guy for Fond du Lac that can hit those outside shots. Cardinals are buy any offense right now.
A whistle and foul underneath will go Fond du Lac. We'll have to check it here and see who it's on. Fond du Lac. Matt Saporsky checking in. You talked to Sean, who's really big in this meeting earlier this season.
Saporsky knocked. Ryan Butch was playing defense. Was playing shots.
You got to give the Cardinals a lot. John Butch with with the basketball, with it out on top. Gives it off to Bart. One here in the quarter from the Redbird Fieldhouse. Springborn with it now between the circles. Whistle and a travel. And it will be a turnover on Fond du Lac Cardinals.
Ball, but up at the scoreboard, you might think that a girls basketball game. A minute and 20 in the first quarter. 6-2 is the score. Appleton West on top of Fond du Lac.
Been involved in several low-scoring games. You know, keep in mind, Fond du Lac, the game against Appleton West earlier this year, only in the 30s. And now with 1:10 remaining here, on the back of the rim, no good. Hansen comes away on before that, a whistle and a foul on.
Appleton. The Cardinals just kind of look confused, confident, despite the fact that they beat Appleton West early. Home court. West looks like the more confident basketball team. They've been able to execute a lot more than Fond du Lac has been able.
A minute remaining here in the opening quarter. And a shot on the way is good by Appleton West. And Appleton West with a basket. Over the card.
Play usually Fond du Lac in these situations like out, play for one, and that's Springborn puts finger and says we are playing for one basket here.
26 seconds of counting remaining in the first quarter. Down 8-2. Robbie Springborn hanging on with the basketball right at the mid-court circle now as we roll under 16 seconds. Springborn 7 makes his move. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. Now Springborn going to make his move. Springborn. And blocked by and Robbie's going to get called with a foul beforehand. And Springborn retaliation foul for the Fond du Lac Cardinals with 0.9 seconds left here in the first quarter. Cardinals with a lot of fouls here in the first quarter, Sean.
And, well, let's see who they're going to call that foul on. They did correct. They had to originally put that. Or just frustrated that his shot got blocked. Obviously, Robbie being able to penetrate. Can't do that with Brian Butch down low and be with cheap reach-in foul there, and you don't really want to see the Cardinals do it, but you know that just once again shows how Appleton West seems to be dictating this basketball game, even though it's a slower-paced basketball game, which is what Fond du Lac wants. Seems a lot more confident than the Cardinals.
Lower right-hand corner, 0.9 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Appleton West does a little pressure on Appleton. Back on a little bit.
How much you could do.
And Appleton West is from the Redbird Fieldhouse. Cardinals down 8-2. Will be right after this. You're watching Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball on Charter Sports.
Stroll through a huge expanded inventory of vehicles, professionally reconditioned and bargain priced. Holiday Dodge has a great selection of pickups, SUVs, and family sedans, all backed by our limited warranty and 5 excellent selection of Prius and trucks at rock bottom prices. Highways 41 and 150, Fond du Lac.
To the Red Fieldhouse, Cardinals down after. Sean, first quarter of play, Cardinals only 1 field goal, but you got to give them, they're only down by
at least down by 6 points, but Fond du Lac 1 of 8 shooting in that first quarter, while Appleton West was 4 of 8 shooting. The Cardinals just not get any sort of offensive rhythm going whatsoever, and that, of course, definitely has shown on the scoreboard. 2 points Fond du Lac.
And for the second quarter play-by-play, here's my partner, Sean.
Quarter with the 3-point basket by Sean Bartelt, and down low ball stolen away as Robbie Springborn was trying to get that one down low to Casey Weiss. Back the other way comes Appleton West. As we mentioned, Appleton West opportunity. Time the 3 misses, however. Appleton West shooting from outside. Stepped inside, they're shooting, but 4, so I think the Cardinals will let them take those shots.
And Appleton West struggled earlier this season against Fond du Lac outside the arc as well. Cardinals doing a good job on Brian Butch right now, as I mentioned, holding him to 2 points here in the first half.
Fond du Lac, as you see here, just really can't get any sort of offensive rhythm. Butch down really thrown off this team. They rely on the dribble penetration of Robbie Springborn, either Springborn taking it to the hole and scoring or dribbling and dishing out. Springborn trying to get some of that going as he's short on that. Saporsky blocked away by Brian Butch.
Well, Saporsky that time tried to pump fake and see if he could draw Butch in the air. Butch did not bite on it and came up with a big block for Appleton West. 2
blocks tonight so far for Brian Butch as well. He's played a fine defensive basketball. Been held in check, however, offensively. 8-2, Appleton West on top of Fond du Lac. 6:23 to go in the second quarter. They're down. Gonna fall for Appleton West. Making the basket is Matt Feek. Appleton West now up by 8.
Feek with 6 points in the first for Appleton West. Scoring game for him. Big 3.
Like needed that one. Taberlick needed that one. He's been over the last couple of games. Inside shot. Down low to Brian Butch, and Butch is going to pass it off. Had an argument for traveling there. And Appleton West Road. And travel is going to be called on Dusty Wabashet.
The Cardinals, Brian Butch has not been able to find a position whatsoever. The Cardinals double team him. The Cardinals against him in the game in Appleton out here. And then have it.
Butcher. Unless we get to the line 2. That's Brian Butch. where he can score. Hanson, the second leading scorer behind. Well, he hit them both. 5:13 to go. The Cardinals score points in all quarters.
Against the Fond du Lac.
West's run so far tonight is jumper is
first quarter of play have come out here and a couple of those open shots. Casey Weiss missing an open jumper in the first quarter. Hit that one.
Pashevsky's going to West is short. A foul underneath and West.
Butch for the foul underneath. Probably could have went either way. And switched the. At first he pointed like the foul on him. Instead, the foul will go on the left. To the free.
His free throw goes in. 15-7, the lead for Appleton West. Seven-foot Brian Butch going to play his collegiate basketball. Misses the second, but an offensive board for Appleton West. They've got 3 offensive rebounds so far tonight. Butch, but he traveled.
Butch a little bit frustrated right now. Getting the ball in the post has not been able to really do it. Time turns the basketball.
Coach Dick Peter giving zone defense being nothing inside. Weiss hit one of those before. Hit again. Well, look at the Cardinals thing that works. Casey Weiss with that mid-range jump shot.
Yeah, Casey, as I mentioned before, coming on as of late for Fond du Lac. He knows his role on this basketball team. His role's been increasing a little bit more as the season with a big game this evening.
Butch has got position down low. Cannot let get that close to the basket. He's 7 feet tall, and whenever he's that close, it's going to be easy for him to lay it off the glass and in. Shavy with it, kicks it out. Springborn.
Has the basketball, he steps out to the free throw.
Seconds to go. We on the floor. Brian on the floor. He ended up going out of the game for one. West, but
Butch trying to out.
The play.
At Brian Butch. First quarter, they did not. The NBA against Shield. Their free throws this season.
Point lead. Hands off Butch as you see some. And if he's going to continue to hit 50 of it, foul, keep players in there. Six.
Getting more
Point. In this
quarter.
Up here to go 17 to 15. Cardinals. Playing on. Not with defense. They are not going to get easy. Aren't dribbling with it. Not for sure you want him doing it. Coming up on 10 seconds now. The Cardinals down by approaching halftime. As Springborn being hounded, needs to get rid of it to somebody. Casey Weiss, the jumper at the buzzer is no good. And we've finished our first half of basketball. A low-scoring first half, but exciting nonetheless. On 17 to 15. We'll be back with halftime programming coming up. This, you're watching Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball on Charter Sports.
It was a pretty good movie tonight.
Yeah, it was funny. Dinner was good.
Yeah.
Set the music.
You know what part I like?
Not your radio.
This is really good, huh?
Yeah. No commercials, no interruptions. Up to 40 digital music channels. Always there when you want it. Just one more reason you'll enjoy Charter Digital Cable.
And welcome back here to Redbird Fieldhouse. And we've got some halftime entertainment here this evening. And let's see if we can catch some of the halftime entertainment, the Fond du Lac dance team. And we will, after that, we'll take a break and we'll talk about this first half right after this here on Charter Sports. But let's catch some of the halftime entertainment.
And that is the Fond du Lac dance team here at halftime, where Appleton West leads Fond du Lac 17-15. We'll be back with our halftime programming after this. You're watching Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball on Charter Sports.
When you've got new worlds to explore, take the scenic route. Scenic Traveler RV, Wisconsin's full-line Damon motorhome dealer. And right now, the best deals from the Green Bay, Madison, and Milwaukee camper and trailer shows are on display at Scenic Traveler RV in Slinger and Wisconsin Dells. February 13th through the 16th, don't miss the great deals at the Milwaukee Camper and Trailer Show at Wisconsin State Fair Park in Milwaukee. Scenic Traveler RV Centers, Highways 41 and 60, just north of Milwaukee, also in Wisconsin Dells.
Redbird Fieldhouse. We are at the half here. Sean, let's talk about this first half of play. The first quarter, Fond du Lac struggled from the field, only scoring 1 bucket points in the first quarter. Appleton West came out, did a good job on there at Fond du Lac coming back in the second quarter.
By Appleton West against the Cardinals in that first quarter. Really confusing, only able to generate 2 points of offense. Appleton West really had a lot of, but then the Cardinals said, you know what, let's not be afraid of Butch. Get in because those weren't working. We need to get what they're doing. Specifically, Casey Week had a huge game last week against Oshkosh North, and so far that started carrying over in the second quarter. Was able to basket to get to within 2.
Fond du Lac once again being very aggressive against Brian Butch, a lot like they did earlier this season against Appleton West. So far, doing a pretty good job on him, being aggressive. As you saw, he actually hit the court a couple of times, came up limping. But that's what Fond du Lac needs to do against Brian Butch.
Now, Butch has not made too many shots. He's had his opportunities at the free throw line. That's what happened the last time these two teams played. Butch only made 1 field goal, but he did get to the free throw line a couple of times. They held him to 9 points. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. Both these teams making adjustments at halftime. Should be an exciting second half.
What do you think, Sean, the Cardinals need to do here in the second half differently than maybe they did in the first half? Maybe what Dick right now?
Well, I think defensively the Cardinals had a good game plan in that first half, but I think they need to stick with that same game plan. Now, if Appleton West, who has not made a three-point basket, and if they can start hitting some of those threes, it'll be a little bit tougher for the Cardinals in the second half. Otherwise, I would keep doing what's got you here so far. Offensively, keep trying to get closer to the basket and maybe try and get Brian Butch a couple of fouls. I know he's had a couple of clean blocks, but eventually some of those slaps are going to a couple of fouls.
We are going to take another break. We're going to be back right after this. We're going to have some stats for you and first half scoring right after this. You're watching Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball on Charter.
Where's your mom? Working late again. Go watch TV. Hey. Something really good on. Cool.
Now you can be mom, even when you can't be there.
It's like not working. Oh. It's working.
Parental control. More choices, more control. One more reason you'll enjoy Charter Digital Cable.
Back at the Red Fieldhouse, we are just about set to start the second half. Appleton West with a 17-15 lead, and let's take a look at the first half stats. The Fond du Lac 7 of 7 on the field for 41 free throws. The Cardinals from no free throws in the first half. There you see Appleton West shooting 46% to on pretty even stats. Free throw.
Yeah, is not shooting about 50% from the free throw line. The shooting percentage was low as we picked it up a bit in the second quarter, and that is what's helped them draw closer in this basketball game by 2 at halftime.
Now at the half scoring, the Fond du Lac Appleton West and with only 7 points. Cardinals doing a good job. Him 20 points per game. We will be to start the second half in just a few minutes. Stick around. It's going to be an excellent second half here from the Redbird Fieldhouse. watching Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball on the Charter Channel.
Most people don't take time to listen to their bodies. Many times, surprised when I find that are sore or tender that they didn't realize were there. I can help to release those tension spots. I always take time to listen to my clients, which is very important. There can be many methods for people to take their health seriously and to relax.
And welcome back to the Fieldhouse. Just a reminder, tonight's game is brought to you in part by Scenic Traveler in Slinger and Wisconsin Dells, with deals starting at $450. They have campers, trailers, and motorhomes for you to thousands of dollars. Scenic Traveler on Highway 41 and 60, excited to bring you tonight's game as we get set to start the second half. And there you take a look at Brian Butch, heading to the University of Wisconsin-Madison next year and help the Wisconsin Badgers, who yesterday without points came in and are tied now for the Big Ten lead. Shot blocked from behind, Derek. And blocking that shot from Brian Butch as we get started here in the second half.
That was an unbelievable lob pass from midcourt all the way to Brian Butch, and somewhat of a block or a steal there by the Cardinals.
Spring no good. Derek Arndt with the rebound and wisely kicks it back out. Saberlich for three off the back of the rim. No good. Derek Arndt with another board. Derek Arndt the boards here tonight.
Nice job offensive rebounds for the Cardinals, able to get hustle, get them second shots. That's what they're going to need in this second half. Victorious over Appleton West.
Bartelt with the basketball, gives it off to Springborn. Springborn with no points, being held scoreless here in the first half. Bartelt with it on the right-hand side. Bartelt takes it into the lane, takes it right at Butch, and Butch comes away with a block and then pushes it up to Hansen, but Hansen takes it back out.
Ill-advised shot that time by Bartelt, off balance, not to mention a couple of players in his face, including Brian Butch.
West with the basketball now. Buchanan has it. Takes a baseline, kicks it back out on top to Wabashevsky. Wabashevsky being guarded now between the circles. 17-15 in favor of Appleton West. Cross-court pass, jump shot on the way, three-pointer. No good. Knocked out by Derek Arndt. Brian Butch.
West is now 0 for 9 from three-point range, Nick.
Saberlich with the basketball between the circles. Saberlich with 5 first-half points here tonight.
Telling Saberlich drive. Says don't stand out there, do something.
Three-pointer by no good. Hansen comes away with the rebound. And now the Bears look at pushing it up. Hansen with it. Off to Buchanan, now to Hansen. Hansen taking a baseline against Casey Weiss. Three-point try by Brian Butch off the front of the rim. Casey Weiss comes to the board. Neither team in the score column so far. Here at the second. Robbie right. That time a retaliation foul. Second
He's just although it was a bit of a wild Tommy Springborn last time offensively for the Disney. You got to play and get over it.
Brian Butch as he goes underneath. That'll be Derek third. Derek Arndt after the whistle. Brian Butch free throw line. Butch with 7 points in the first half. His free throw right here on the way. No good. Butch has been shooting about free throw line. See him. Couple way is good.
A lot of these Cardinals booing Butch tonight are going to him for the next 4 years when he's playing down at Madison.
Yeah, they will be. 5:30 straight up remaining here in the third quarter. Belt with the basket. Being guarded by Hansen. Casey Weiss. Casey Weiss for three. Good! Casey Weiss from three-point range, and we have a tied basketball game.
Oh, has he been on fire? He has been on fire. The Cardinals do. Into this one, we're tied. Cardinals trailed by double digits, but and Butch
being aggressive. Dilling falls to the floor, and Butch puts it in. 20-18 in favor of Appleton West.
Coach working over the referee, telling him he thought Brian Butch traveled that time.
Weiss again for three. Good! Casey Weiss back-to-back three-pointers gives the Fond du Lac Cardinals their first lead of the basketball game.
Nick Casey Weiss is on fire. He is in a zone. The last basketball game week against Oshkosh North, he scored 25 points. Weiss, since the second quarter, has not missed a shot. For one going into halftime, place going nuts.
And a rebound by Cardinals looking to push it up the court. Springborn to Bartell, jump shot by off the rim, no good. Jim Dilling with the rebound. And a foul on Appleton West. Mo is in the Lac right now.
Oh, the totally shifted to Lac, Nick, as the fans are on their feet here from the house with 4:10 to go in the third quarter. 21-20, the lead for the Cardinals. A quick 30-second timeout. Appleton West.
We'll remind you that tonight's live game here on Charter Communications is brought to you by Diane Brown, Station and Therapeutic Dynamic Chiropractic and Wellness Center. Diane will help you release tension, spots, and relax. Diane Brown is very proud to be a part of the Big Fox Valley Association conference game from
putting together. He's been going up there in the second quarter and Cardinals their first lead of this basketball. We
about how Casey come out the second half of the season, stepped up for the Fond du Lac Cardinals, and he has so far this season, adding a spark, making up for Robbie Springborn, who has been held scoreless tonight. You got to give Appleton West defense a lot of credit on that.
Yeah, Robbie really. It's the fact that down low and Robbie can't penetrate. Robbie's been kind of tightly guarded when he's trying to take some out shots. So, hey, somebody else has got to step up, and Casey Weiss has been the guy to do that.
Cardinals with a 1-point, 21-20 lead over Appleton West. Spring basketball now. Gives it off to Bartell to Springborn.
Well, you don't want to see the Cardinals get too patient here on offense. They were doing a good job, good offensive rhythm, getting this lead, and you'll kind of want to see the Cardinals continue to attack Appleton West as they did right there.
Brian Butch that time, a hard foul, and Butch trying to retie his shoes. Good job by Jim Dilling, taking it right at the 7-foot UWS. Butch ranks the players and other magazines as top 50 players in the nation. Could have gone to places like North Carolina, Kentucky, as well as Marquette, but chose the University of Wisconsin, the Badgers. So we will see him a lot throughout the next couple of years. Dilling gets the friendly bounce. His first one goes.
That was a very emotional decision for Brian Butch when he chose to go to Wisconsin. He said he just couldn't see him putting on another jersey out the city school, and that's where he'll be for the next couple of years.
And I'm sure Bo Ryan is happy with that choice. Appleton West now with the basketball, 22-20 in favor of the Cardinals. Butch on a post-up, and a blocking foul will be against the Fond du Lac Cardinals. And it will be a blocking foul. Appleton West will inbound at baseline. We'll see who the foul will go on. And it will go on Jim Dilling for Fond du Lac. That'll be Dilling's first personal. Inbound, Hansen's shot, no good. Casey Weiss with the rebound, a whistle, and an over-the-back foul. Who are they going to get on that foul, Sean?
I think that might be on Hansen, not for sure here. And that is going to be on Nick Hansen.
You are correct, my friend. 3:16 remaining here in the third quarter, 22-20 in favor of Fond du Lac. And the Cardinals will inbound it. That'll be Hansen's first personal foul. Thanks for tuning us in this live broadcast here from the Redbird Fieldhouse tonight here on Charter Communications. Springborn with it to Casey Weiss, who has had the hot hand throughout this basketball. Spring Weiss.
Bartelt, he's being a little bit more closely guarded by Appleton West.
A whistle and a blocking foul on Appleton West. And up slowly is Buchanan. Buchanan didn't see what he did that time. He's getting up slowly on the court here. And Buchanan's going to limp off the court. I believe he called it.
Yeah, Jim now foul as must have been setting a screen and dealing for the
deeper to their bench. From the free throw line tonight. That'll give Butch points so far in this ball game, and he puts in number 12. Once again, we have a tie basketball game, 22-22. The Appleton West Terrors and the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Casey Weiss with the basketball. Weiss going to take it right at Butch. Casey Weiss again. Boy, oh boy. Everything is dropping for the senior Casey.
Miss Nick, I tell you, he's having. You just want you to shoot.
With the basketball already up by 2.
Fond du Lac now on this. I come at Brian, but you try to get him that third personal foul. We saw them a couple of offensive. Going in and driving Butch, try to get him that third personal.
Very good point there, Sean. See if you can put Brian Butch on the bench. 1:49 remaining in the third quarter. Cardinals up by 2, 24-22. Saberlick with the basketball on the left-hand side. Gets a pick from Shepard. Bartelt, springboard. Springboard off the rim, no good. Brian Butch comes away with the rebound for Butch now. Takes it in. Nearly has it. Hey, Robbie Springborn with it. Cardinals on with it. Tries the kick to back out. Saberlick, 3. Saberlick, good! And they're going to call it a 2. Saberlick on the with their biggest lead, a 4-point lead in this basketball game. And by somebody other than Casey Weiss for Appleton West.
.7 foot, as it looks like the Cardinals are
quarter, and they 20-24. At the least thing that the
There's the card. Oh, to Butch. Turn
But a whistle.
Mr. Turnovers in the fourth quarter.
Saberlick. There you go. On hand here this evening. Saberlick getting ready to shoot his free throw. 0.1 seconds left here in the third quarter. Is good by Saberlick. And
I would just assume they're going to...
And Appleton West hangs on to the basketball, and we have completed three from the Redbird Fieldhouse. The Fond du Lac Cardinals with a 27-24 lead over Appleton West. We'll have fourth right after.
Here's a communications news break. The North Fond du Lac Winter Fest 2003 takes shape on February 21st through the 23rd by featuring the world's first and only performance ice sculpting company, Fear No Ice. There is even more to celebrate as the village gets its centennial celebrations and including trolley rides, a parade, dip in the community pool.
It is Redbird Fieldhouse, both into this basketball game. Good third play by the Fond du Lac Cardinals, Sean.
Yeah, able to find that offensive rhythm with Casey Weiss. The Cardinals a little bit sluggish. The third, then they find their shots and very nice notice. You see some of the students here at the Bird Field pumped up for what should be an I think he may have turned his ankle.
Out of the basketball game limping before he is in for Appleton West. Now Wabashevsky going to the bench, and as you mentioned, Sean, looks like maybe he turned his ankle a little bit, and the trainer for Appleton West is looking.
So the Cardinals will begin their offensive set one.
Sean, Brian Butch, the third quarter, Appleton West.
West was 2 of 7 shooting in the third quarter. The Cardinals 5 of 11.
It has been the Brian Butch we show tonight.
Those have been the two main scorers for Appleton West and Fond du Lac respectively. The Cardinals patient to begin the fourth quarter. Like to do this on their first offensive position of teaching. That's what Fond du Lac coach Dick Diener has done for several years as Wabash is trying to walk off on ankle. See by Coach Diener with 6 minutes 40 of run in this quarter. Everybody case to put that into the lane, but Butch blocks it. Here's Kuberlik first. Chris knows you. He's got his arms up. That point back good, and the
comes to
misspelled foul on Derek Arndt. Arndt's arguing the jump ball as amidst the Butch to get position underneath, and he'll go to the free.
They have been hacking Brian Butch, sending him to the free throw line all night long, which has been a pretty good game plan so far, because he's been about 50% from the free throw line. Those last two free throws, he hit them, but that was the first time that he hit both back free throw.
From three-point range. 0 of 13.
We talked about how they struggled in the first meeting from outside the arc, and that might have been the difference. Outside.
Tremendous defensive plan worked up by Carter's coaching tonight against Brian Butch. A 4-point lead for the Cardinals with under 6 minutes to play. And Saberlich hits it again! Chris Saberlich from downtown, another 3-point leads by the section.
Saberlich on fire. Him and Casey Weiss have controlled the basketball game. Another big collision down in the paint. Jim Dilling and Brian Butch. But Chris Saberlich, the story, starts the quarter of play for the
a little bit more urgency in West's basketball game. Not as patient on offense when Appleton West is coming down right away, getting the ball down to Brunch. I think accepting the fact that the Cardinals are going to foul. I think they realize that the single position almost a guarantee. 2 free throws for Butch every time it's the basket.
Yeah.
They can't hit any three-pointers. Their only offense has going.
Visions of the Shack and the Hack.
Clyde pull it. Cardinals broke the pressure easily, and a foul is going to be called as Derek Arndt, Jim 5 ball. He's fouled. The Cardinals are in this and Arndt 1-1.
Jim Dilling back at the other end of the court. That was his 4th. And, the foul this time goes on West.
Matt
an opponent.
Peak picks second foul. Oh, muscle that one away as Martell tried to out-jump Brian Butch, but 1-footer. So 30 by Coach Dick Dieter firing up his squad. It's a full timeout. Take a break. Fond du Lac on top by 5 with 5:22 to go on the 4th. Back after this, Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball on the Charter Channel.
Stevie, it's President Day sale. Raises topping prices throughout the store. Now through Saturday, February 2nd. Come see the great models of purchases. No cash back on all major brands like
Wisconsin has ranked Cardinals, the 3rd ranked Terrors 33-28. So the association with a record of 13-1. The Cardinals just a game back at 12-2. That lone conference came against Fond du Lac as the Cardinals up. And as the defense kind of
time, Sean. First player other than Brian Butch in the second half to score West.
Cardinals and a timeout's going to be taken. As, wow, what a turn of events there. Appleton West crowd getting, and second time.
Just later, tonight's game is brought in part by the Automotive Group of GM Rose Drive, Cloud Valley Association Conference basketball game between the Fond du Lac Cardinals and the Appleton West Terrors.
Oh, with that basket for Appleton West and the turnover they created, their student section a lot louder, as you can see, than the Fond du Lac. They got their back. The crowd really needs to get into it. Appleton to have the battle here, need to make noise. Mini run Appleton going on as the Cardinals comes alive now as Appleton.
Fond du Lac has to. They can't have confidence at all.
Dusty Wabashewski, the guard for Appleton West, back out, able to fix it. No problem. Walked it. The Cardinals lead. The three get out. They're 1 of 14, and it couldn't have come at a time as Rob covered by the pressure, and a foul called on Sean Bartelt, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to get Bartelt, and it was a tough call to make. Bartelt, the one laying on the ground, looks like a couple of fouls as well on Appleton, and Fond du Lac Cardinals going to call timeout. And game, we have a tie game, 33 back.
As long as behind the wheel of a
New Saturn of Fond du Lac has a great selection of drive away in a Saturn certified 99 SL, $145 a month, a 12-month 1,000-mile 50 inspection, a 3-day 150-mile money-back guarantee, and Carfax certification. Eagle pricing and great only at Saturn of Fond du Lac.
An exciting fourth quarter indeed. The led by 7 just a couple of minutes ago, Nick, but Appleton West has been able to go on a run, and they have tied up this basketball game.
And the Fond du Lac committing a few turnovers and not being able to break that Appleton West has been putting on the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Now Appleton has to take the free throw line.
Gain the lead. Or that pressure when Robbie Springborn was trying to come up the court. Robbie was double teamed, had nowhere to go with it. You got to. He should have took a timeout in that situation. I know it's easy for us to say, not being in that situation, but as the Cardinals having problems again, they just had problems breaking pressure. Just able to get that one. Robbie set the offense. A 2-point lead now for Appleton West. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Well, Appleton West defense really tightening up once again. What we saw in the first quarter of
Casey Weiss touching the basketball a little bit ago, and Weiss was hot in the second and most of the third quarter, although he kind of really didn't get many shots late in the third quarter and really has attempt. We hope the Cardinals don't go too patient on offense here with under 4 minutes to trail by 2. Springborn with it. A drive and a shot. Didn't bake that time. And a huge break for the game, top 35 with
that in mind as
Springborn calling out a play. Really, the one here, they 3 minutes off the clock.
I don't know, they might be able to. Do a good
and you try to lock down, you aggressive.
like did it, and Appleton West stealing the basketball. Now free throw line has a chance to a pair of free throws. And boy, Sean, I tell you, it seems like Appleton has been the free throw line.
5 seconds to go. Well, being able to dribble out the ball as long as possible, I mean, it's a great idea. Funnel.
Marlene Foyt of Fond du Lac.
I'm a, yes, I am. I expect service, I expect answers, I want them. It is the best dealership in Fond du Lac. I would, I'm very pleased. I will come back.
Holiday, holiday, you'll miss that holiday.
A 2-point lead for Appleton West as we return to the basketball. With 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go as we just passed 9 o'clock. Everybody who's joined us live on Charter, we expect a great finish as well. Let's see how the trailing by, and they are able to go, and Robbie Springborn will read off. Is on Chris Saberlick. That is the 18th foul on the Cardinals. So only a 1-and-1 situation. Excuse me, actually that is the 10th team foul on the lat. So shooting 2 at the free throw line for Appleton West is Dave Buchanan. In and in. Friendly roll for Buchanan. 3-point. A 4th lead for Appleton West with 1 minute and 20. Ball bounce.
That they did not get down the court. In this foul.
But he stepped out of bounds.
7 seconds left. Cardinals down 9-35. And it will be Fond du Lac basketball here.
An unbelievable turn of events there. The Cardinals, with 40 seconds to go, they trail by 4. Springborn with it. He's in trouble. Bouncing around in the hands of Bartelt. Now Springborn over to Bartelt. And a foul called on number 5, Buchanan. And, well, that's a huge break for the Cardinals because they'll go to the free throw line shooting a 1-and-1. Well, Sean Bartelt.
Yeah, Sean Bartelt this season from the free throw line, 63% for Fond du Lac. And a big foul because now the Cardinals a chance to put some points on the board without the clock running.
Coach Hart just wants a timeout for Appleton West. It's going to be a 30-second time. We'll keep it right here. Yes, you're Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball.
Take a step in the Lake Real Estate. L&R Construction of Fond du Lac. Professional, personalized service is what we're all about. Working as a team to meet your needs.
If you want a straightforward approach to real estate
and knowledgeable and professional construction, give us a call today.
Construction to buying and selling property, our team works hand in hand with you from start to finish. Foot of the Lake Real Estate and L&R.
A 4-point lead for Appleton West, 39-35. With Sean Bartelt going to the free throw line, shooting a 1-and-1. They got to be the foul there, Nick. Bartelt has to make free throws.
Yeah, these are key right now. You don't get in a bigger situation than
Bartelt's first one's no. Ball called?
No. Miss by you know, Fond du Lac has only scored points in the fourth quarter after coming out and having a good third and struggling in the third quarter, and we're going to have timeout. It will be, we'll take one as well. 9:30.
Seemed like a simple question. Where do you want to go on vacation? That. So I didn't have to spend half my time plan the whole trip.
Travel in an instant. 1-800-581-0081.
8 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Ball game, 7 points. Slowly.
Yeah, it did. And when they get the opportunity,
a 2-possession
point in the fourth quarter.
Peak second one is short. In trouble, gets it to Robbie, luckily. Case was clearly fouled.
And now that's going to go line, and the West crowd.
We could get a replay of that.
Sean tonight only had 3 free throw line.
7-point. $15 seconds to go. Spring. Robbie Springborn hits the three. You believe in miracles? I sure. Three.
Well, the big three right there by Springborn. And as you mentioned, Cardinals down. Take a quick timeout. Well,
2-39.
We'll be right after this on Charter Sports.
Main Street. Balls, gear, it's all sports on Main. Pass, shoot. What all your ball needs covered. It's all teams, trophies, letter jacket. Yours.
Some bad news for the Fond du Lac Cardinals that Robbie Springborn not
has to foul quickly against Appleton.
And to live action here, and they second game. That one really hurt.
For full of free, but
the field, and he misses that free throw. Hansen, the three-point range is on the card. Springborn with second. Springborn, ball stripped away. Here comes Wabashewski Lane. Being fouled. And Appleton victory in more than association conference title.
And now Brian right by Appleton here. It looks like it's going to be tonight.
Unfortunately, something being thrown on the field here on the court. You win classy with class. So Appleton West by second throw. Stock out. Seemingly reaching the conference this victory. 38. Fond du Lac. Back with post-game Gremix. More after. You're watching.
John. Homework seal. Book report on dinosaurs. Yesterday, but I'll get it.
Charter Pipeline. Additional ed needs 100-5881.
And back Red House as Terror come in the Cardinals home and beat Fond here to have to give the Cardinals on. They're proud up and giving the round of applause. They fought basketball game this season.
At West, Craig Hart and standing to basketball against else. Defense. Then in the second quarter, and the led by 7 in the fourth quarter, but let it slip out West in this basketball game. Free throw.
Will all now in the 12 in on the season after. Appleton West this evening. Well, we'll come back and talk about this game a little and some stats right after this. Like Cardinal Basketball channel.
Our total computer. When not on the computer.
Okay, spot on.
as I track our stocks.
Mr.
What?
Online
Well, Charlie's phone connect faster than... Ooh! Hey!
Geek Pipeline. Are you on?
For the
Chart line for the Geek in 800-81.
Back here to the Redbird. Appleton this evening. 48 and Sean talking about point lead.
I kept following and put Appleton. It wasn't all of his free throws half. Started to knock one of the second, especially in the fourth quarter. That get a three up, and this game was tied with just under minutes to go in the game. A little bit too. We didn't know if they were going to up for an S early win.
You look at Fond du Lac's off. They panicked and I think hurt the final. Yeah.
It's a surprise the Cardinals did that because they played in one. You know, both these coaches, both these teams. The better of Fond du Lac.
All right, we back. For this, you're watching Fond du Lac.
I'm not.
When are
So I got online stocks.
Mr.
What?
Online Trader?
Well, Charter Pipe is faster. Ooh, need that, and it's